Hi there, this is Adam from the Video Game Dads podcast. Just wanted to issue a disclaimer at the beginning of this episode. Benjamin and I recorded this sort of when the COVID/coronavirus stuff was just starting to take off. So it's just the two of us. It's a very casual episode as a result of that. Things have worsened significantly since the time that we recorded this about 2 weeks ago. So we've sort of been setting on it, but I think now is a good time to release it, especially since there are a lot of people who are quarantined or locked at home or otherwise can't get out or furloughed from work or whatever. Benjamin and I both work directly with sick people, and we'll be exposed to this, I'm sure, numerous times if we haven't been already. So we'll be dealing with it kind of upfront and personal. But I know a lot of other people are dealing in other ways, be it because they can't work or their place of business is shut down temporarily or even permanently. So I know there's a lot of bad things going on for a lot of people, but I hope this brings a little bit of good vibes your way. We'll be thinking about you guys, you'll be thinking about us, and we appreciate you listening.
Hello and welcome to the Video Game Dads podcast.
Welcome.
This is episode 53.
53.
Yeah, Video Game Dad podcast, where three guys in a basement talk gaming, fatherhood, and everything in between. We are an amateur podcast. We try weekly, and if you can hear from my voice, longtime listeners, we had some trouble getting together this last time. We had technical difficulties, just a lot of illness.
Everybody's had the flu.
Yeah. Flu's really bad this year. Of course, we know the COVID-19 thing. We probably won't make many jokes about that. I'm more on the side of like, it's not a funny thing. It kind of is a bad thing, and it makes a lot of people sick. Hopefully, everybody out there is well. But I ended up having the flu, like
the flu A.
Influenza type A, which the shot was a lot better at the B and C than the A against. So I had not had the flu in 10 years, and my body was 10 years older receiving the flu.
Your body was not ready for it.
Oh my gosh. I thought, like legit, at midnight, I woke up and I thought I was the first case in the Missouri and Kansas area. I thought I was, because my job
it messes with your brain when you're sick too.
Yeah. Like because I had everything but like the my O2 sat was like lower. I had a fever. I was short of breath at rest. I felt like crazy ill, and it was very much a dry cough. And I really, at midnight, I even called my doctor's office just to like put it on the messenger and just so they knew. So if they need to call me in the morning, I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital.
Yeah, man, you're describing me like every time I eat meatloaf.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's
a little bit of trouble breathing, don't feel so hot.
It gets tough, yeah. The stomach flu, I was fine for 5 days, and then all of a sudden got the real flu. And it hit me in the face. I can't imagine getting the flu at like 50, 60 years old. Holy crap.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, we and what I do for a living, you get people that come around from all around the world, and I usually try to like shake their hand, not the world, I guess, but around the country, because they might have a reason to come visit. But anyway, I am around people that travel, so I really thought I freaking had it. But luckily I don't. Feeling better, just that after effect. And here's the other thing. My son ended up getting the flu. I quarantined myself completely. Son, 3 years old, got the flu. It was like a baby cold to him.
Oh, yeah. No, he probably took a Flintstone vitamin and just knocked that smooth out.
They bounce back so well. I mean, when a kid is sick, and because he had the respiratory thing as a kid, what is it called?
RSV?
Yes. Yeah. He had RSV when he was like 10, 11 months old, and he looked terrible. But this, we thought he was, and we swabbed him, and he was positive for the flu. He had like a fever for like 2 hours and had a cough. And wanted to lay down for about 3 or 4 hours one day, and that was it. And then the rest of him, he was like fine. He just coughing a lot, and I thought I was like writing my last will and testament.
That's like every time I get sick, with my kids, they'll get sick, and then I will get sick like a day or two later. Yeah, but then they recover like after a day or two, but it then takes me like 3 or 4 or 5 days or whatever. So well. I'm still sick like 2 days after they get well.
Oh, yeah.
And so for those 2 days, like I'm just sitting on the couch, they're like poking me with a stick, and I'm just like, let me die.
Yeah.
Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
Why do you have to keep bothering me? But yeah, dude, they're resilient. And part of getting older, or at least what I've learned about getting older, is you definitely do not bounce back the way that you used to.
No, yeah. My goodness. I guess, yeah. I remember being super sick I felt really bad and maybe some of it's time too, because I was in my 20s the last time I had the flu. And now I'm in like late 30s, so good grief. But anyway, so that and just a bunch of other stuff. We really tried to get together. You got to believe us. We definitely did. We wanted to stay on schedule, but enough of that. We will not have quite as long of an episode this time too. First time listeners, we do talk about video games at some point.
Yeah, we might.
Yeah, and if you want to email us, you can email us at videogamedads@yahoo.com, and our
Facebook.com/videogamedads.
Yeah. You could find us here and there. Don't do much else because, dads. I kind of got to figure we've gotten together 53 times to do this.
Yeah, dude.
And we probably really gotten together to do this 61 times. And then we've had like technical difficulties, hard drive crashes.
We probably have recorded about 150 hours of just us talking. Which is a little nauseating to think about.
Or more because of the edits and stuff. I sometimes wish we had like a super cut of all the edits we've lost because some of the stuff's funny.
Some of the stuff is not family friendly. That ends up getting cut. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, folks, we appreciate you guys listening to us here, babble along. Michael is feeling under the weather.
Yeah, Michael and his sick kid are both sick.
Yeah. I think.
And Shane is in Florida.
Yeah, Shane is doing his yearly timeshare thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Good for him.
He's down kicking it with the fam.
Yeah, he sent a picture of him in like this tracksuit today out of nowhere.
I don't understand what that was all about.
He probably bought it at a store and
he looks like he went to a Goodwill in Florida and bought a tracksuit.
Yeah. And then so at first it's just like, did you take something from somebody?
He's like I've been jogging or something, and then he sends a picture of himself in like this cheesy like late 80s tracksuit or something.
Oh gosh.
And I don't know what he was trying to accomplish.
I know, it's Florida, man. Maybe he found something at a fruit stand and he's like, wait a second. What am I saying?
I don't know. There's a lot of money in the banana stand.
Yeah,
that's what
there's
I
a
know.
lot of money in the banana stand. I mean, we got to keep that in. Don't edit that out. I was just thinking about like what actually, you know what it is? It's vacation. Vacation gets you that happy and stuff. So
it is. Yeah. No, he's I mean, I don't know what he's doing in Florida, but he's having a good time.
Yeah, for sure. And he drove, of course, because of the travel.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, everybody knows this already, but yeah, airline prices. Holy cow.
Yeah, dude.
Fiji for $300.
Yeah, I actually.
What?
We just canceled the vacation ourselves. My wife did.
Sorry
Yeah,
to
because
hear.
we wouldn't have canceled it except that it was a cruise, right? And it's like it's a big family thing. And so my wife had this plan like 6-8 months ago, and so it was going to be us. It was going to be her parents, a bunch of her cousins, and kind of extended family. So a whole lot of people were going to go, but there's kind of some older people. There's going to be a bunch of kids, and the whole COVID thing. It doesn't really affect the kids and the young people so much, but the older people. The biggest issue is that if one person tests positive on the whole damn boat, you're going to be in quarantine for like 2 weeks. Maybe in port or just next to the port before you're allowed to really do anything else. And with the job and with all the other stuff, I just can't. No. I can't be stuck somewhere for 2 weeks.
It could be more than that.
So we ended up canceling that and all the airfare and all the rest. And then the other hard thing about it is too, for work, I'm supposed to be over in Europe for like 3 solid weeks in between June and July. And it's kind of looking like maybe that won't happen too, depending on restrictions on international travel.
Yeah, definitely. So, spoiler alert, one of the topics we were going to talk about was E3. I'll run through that. We're not going to be able to do emails, and this is one of the few episodes. Can't do the video game book club this week. This episode. We will do it next time for those first-time listeners. It's just where we kind of pick out some games, talk about them in between and talk about those specific games. Part of it is I don't think my voice will handle it, and I also think it'd be better if we have a more group to do it and all 3 games to talk about.
Yeah, because we're doing 3 games.
Yeah, and I honestly played them about 3 weeks ago when we were gonna record one of the last times we got together, and then I haven't touched it, and I realized like, oh my god, my memory stinks.
Yeah, we played some tonight on all of them. Yeah, before we recorded. Yeah,
yeah, but we did play a little tonight, which was a nice refresher. But those will be Vigilante 8 for the Nintendo 64. Double Dragon versus Battletoads, or Battletoads versus Double Dragon for Super Nintendo, and then Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg for GameCube. So sorry if you were picked. We'll try to stay on time. We will plan on doing the Video Game Book Club next time. Same for emails, since every other episode we won't talk about emails, but we will talk about E3, the importance of that, kind of maybe some of the trickle down we might think, just being dads in general of this thing going around COVID, but also in terms of how it relates to gaming, maybe good games to play when you are
when you're
locked
quarantined.
up, when you're quarantined.
Yeah, quarantine games.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that. Of course, we will have our handheld Hala. We'll at least throw that in. We didn't get to do that last time. And then family stuff, what we're playing, pickups, changes. What do you say we start talking about E3? Huh?
Yeah, let's go into some E3.
Yeah, so first things first, let's be selfish with this. We were going to go to E3.
We thought we were going to get to be important this year.
Yeah. Like honestly, E3, I kind of hinted at it before, but I was all set to go. We would have been as press. I had a microphone label thing. I had that was going to be there. Then I was already like logistics. I didn't know about you guys. If you could make it, I think you were going to maybe go. The other guys I don't know, but like I was setting it up so everybody would be able to go and we can go as podcast media. And it was all set to go. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wait a sec, I got to wait 3 weeks. And then the more I thought about it, I thought about my family. And this is kind of like a month or two ago because I think like you, I've been following this thing for a while, and I was talking like a crazy person when no one heard of this yet, and I was like, hey, and everybody at work, I was like, this might be a big deal because this guy I follow who does these like med videos or whatever started talking about it, and I was like, wait a sec, like worst case scenario, if it's not contained, all the stuff you were hearing, I'm like, oh, okay, golly jeepers. Anyway, not something we wanted to bring home to the family. And before today, we're recording, was the day they officially canceled E3 due to COVID. And by the time this gets up, it'll be kind of old news by the time we're done editing, recording it. But what is today? The 11th? The 11th,
The
11th, yeah.
The day after Mario Day.
Yeah, day after Mario Day. Happy Mario Day, everybody. Hope you had a wonderful Mario Day. Did you do anything special?
I actually played Mario Odyssey. Yeah.
I played Tetris.
Yeah, me and Grayson sat on the couch, and we probably played for 2 solid hours.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Which one? Sorry.
Odyssey.
Odyssey, yes. Yeah. Odyssey's great. I mean, it's a good old time. The last Mario game I played was probably Mario 3. Not in general, sorry. I just mean like the last one I actually popped in. But yeah, I played Tetris 99.
Tetris 99 is awesome.
Yeah. I didn't realize they did the update where you can get other skins now. Mm-hmm. I played it when it first came out, and it was real bare bones.
Yeah.
I should have played it
then.
Yeah,
they keep updating it and changing it some.
Yeah.
The funny thing about Tetris 99, though, is how well I rank or do is highly dependent on the time of day I play.
Oh, yeah.
I think it depends on which nations are awake.
Which nations are awake, not kind of your own ability to concentrate. Okay.
Well, that probably somewhat too, but yeah,
interesting.
It's odd because I generally will place in the top 10, most of the time.
Oh wow. I don't do that good. Jeez,
I almost always place in the top 10.
Top 10.
Yeah, unless Japan is awake.
Wow.
And I usually still will place top quartile, but I have trouble placing consistently in the top 10 when Japan's awake.
Nice. Yeah, I might see your strategy because I didn't realize there's strategy to it, where when to attack and not attack and things. But for those who don't know, it's just a battle royale.
Yeah, honestly, after you get to the top 10, it's moving so fast that it gets almost random, up toward the top. But
have you won?
Yeah, I've won a few.
Sweet. Yeah, I've maybe played a total of, 40, 50 games or whatever. I played for 10 minutes when it started, and then when I got sick, it's funny, I was too sick to play video games for the most part outside of that. And I watched a lot of movies. because that's the other weird. Sorry to talk about sickness, but like I felt like a bachelor again in a weird way.
Yeah, you kind of do because you're sitting at the house.
I have to be away from the kids, and I didn't want to get them sick, and so I was very well quarantined. And we have a 4-month-old. I did not want to get the flu, and luckily my wife and the 4-month-old did not. Just our son did. Now we already talked about that. How he did fine. It was like a dull wind. But I ended up watching a lot of movies on Plex, and like I don't watch movies anymore, man. The last 5 years. And I watched a ton. Okay, here, let's see what I can remember. Ace Ventura.
All right.
I just felt like watching it.
Classic.
I hadn't watched it in 10 years. And then I watched a lot of the new ones that came out. I saw Gemini Man.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Ford versus Ferrari.
Was that good?
Yeah, it was. It was good. I didn't know the story about it, and I thought, it was good. It was interesting. The conclusion of it, like, I'm not a.
Were you like Team America?
Yeah, I'm not a huge motorhead, but the fact that what they did really just the simple fact that Ferrari had a monopoly on this thing. They just built this car, and there's two specific men. That the main Batman and Good Will Hunting Man.
Yeah,
those two are the main dudes there. But yeah, it was good. It was definitely good. What was the other one? Gemini Man, which the Will Smith one. And then, oh gosh, what are a bunch of the new ones that came out? Because they have Plex, and they sent me their thing. So all the ones that went up for like Best Picture, I didn't get to see Parasite because it didn't have the subtitles. So I was watching, and it was 100%.
You were sitting there with Google Translate, trying to watch Parasite.
I know. That would have been good. I should have tried that. So I didn't get to see that one. But oh gosh, I can't even think. I probably saw like 6-7 movies. It was crazy. But yeah, I was unfortunately too sick to play.
Do you know what movie I've watched like on repeat for like the last month? Actually, it's 2 movies.
Okay, go ahead.
Frozen and Frozen 2.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. If you need to know some Frozen, I know some Frozen.
Yeah. I haven't gotten into the movie things yet. Bash does not like TV, and the 4-month-old I think will. I can already tell. She's like looking at the TV.
Oh man, my 2-year-old will cry unless you put Frozen on.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. She sings, the song.
Yeah.
She goes, let it go.
Oh.
Let it go.
I'm sure it gets annoying.
It's cute, but it's annoying.
No, my son likes this guy named Blippi.
Oh God, Blippi's the worst on YouTube.
Yeah, not a fan. That's the only thing. So like, here's one thing. It's not as bad as like the Color Cars stuff where there's nothing going in a brain of my child.
Yeah, but we've seen those too. Yeah.
But unfortunately, the stuff going in, like, it's just very amateur hour. Like, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of opportunity.
The problem is that guy makes more money than both of us put together several fold over.
Yeah. So he's smart, and I read the story about how he did it. He came up with his suspenders. He's basically like a Captain Kangaroo on speed. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But the thing is, he takes pride in what he does, but he just goes and plays with things, and he talks about colors and shapes, really very simple stuff. Every once in a while, he'll get into like combine and farm equipment, because you can tell in the background he probably did some machinery work. So he gets real specific with like construction stuff, but then like not like he'll be playing with this thing, and he'll have an opportunity to pick up this like baby doll, and he'll like hold it in front of the camera like he's holding a bag of potatoes, and he'll shake it and go, "Hey, look, a baby!" Da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, that was an opportunity to show how to hold a baby, you idiot.
Yeah,
like,
no, you shake him.
He just basically like shook a baby in front, like, look, it's a baby.
Yeah, no, it's spazoid for sure.
Oh gosh.
But, yeah, no, I try to dissuade the Blippi viewing in my house as much as possible. I'm not always successful in that. My son, my 6-year-old, he likes watching Blippi, but really, and I hate to be like the dad that has to like ban stuff in the house, but there are 2 things I've had to ban.
Okay.
There are no Minecraft videos allowed in my house, and there are no Fortnite videos allowed at my house, because my kid will watch them all day long, like just people playing Minecraft or people playing Fortnite, and it turns him into a crazy person.
Like, what do you mean?
Like, if you allow him to watch like let's plays of either one of those 2 games, even if he's just watching them for like 10, 15, 20 minutes or whatever, and you try to turn it off, it is on like Donkey Kong. I mean, it's like you have just ruined his life
Yeah.
because he can't finish the Let's Play of Minecraft. And I honestly wouldn't mind him like watching those and playing Minecraft and stuff if it didn't turn him into a crazy person. But I have to take it away because he goes nuts with it.
Yeah, that's the thing. At least the Blippi stuff's 5-10 minutes, and you know when it ends. And
yeah, Ryan's toy review is the same way. I have to kind of like very much limit his ability to watch Ryan's toy review, which is kind of like Blippi, you know.
It is, yeah.
That's just the parents playing with the kid, you know, with the toys.
Yeah. But I mean, all told, he doesn't do much screen time. He even has a tablet. He doesn't even play with it. We got him one just for in case of emergency.
Oh yeah, we have to put time limits on the tablets.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll get that way eventually. He just not, and he's not a book. I was saying earlier, he doesn't really like books. He doesn't like that. He likes just touching. Like he likes like puzzles. He likes cars. He likes like to run around. He's kind of like. He'd be a perfect kid like 100 years ago too. You know what I mean? Like
here's a tire and a stick.
Yeah,
Have fun.
He doesn't need this special.
Yeah,
stuff.
honestly though, like the Nintendo Switch is great for kids because it has a timer you can put on it.
I didn't know.
So you put this parental app on your like iPhone or Android phone or whatever,
nice.
and it links over the internet to the Switch.
To the Switch.
Yeah, so
I didn't know that. How great!
You can limit playtime, and so I'll put like an hour playtime or something on my kid's Switch for him to be able to play. And it even puts a timer up at the top of the Switch screen so they know how much time they have left. So, they need to save or finish the level or whatever.
Nice.
And I always know when time is getting up because I can hear him getting frustrated. And then when it goes out, he'll like sometimes start sobbing a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you can add time to it. You'd be like, well, you've been pretty good tonight. So here's some time. Or no more time yet, but after you go brush your teeth and you do the things, you need to do to get ready for bed, I'll give you 30 minutes.
Nice.
That kind of thing. So you can sort of use it. Pro tip for parenting, Nintendo Switch. Yeah, you can definitely use that as a carrot to get your kids to do what they need to do.
Nice. Yeah. I never had restrictions. My mom never limited my screen time. I didn't have to watch. I remember there was a kid in my class and it blew my mind because we were in first or second grade. And I remember, and because now I'm a parent, but I remember as a kid thinking how terrible this was. They had their parents, they were twins. I had a big crush on them. Grown up, Eva and Victoria, they're both like married now and stuff.
Was this during the era of the Bud Light commercials?
This is probably way before that, man. This is 1986.
You were the target demographic for those commercials.
1986, man. I still have my like blonde curly hair. I had all the elementary girls swooning. So they could only watch half an hour a day.
Oh wow!
Of TV.
Were they Amish?
No, they were just, their parents were just good and like good parents, I guess. But like at the time, I was thinking half hour. My brain couldn't, like, how do you guys watch movies? You don't know how The Wizard of Oz
You don't
ends.
know what you're missing.
And I found out they can either save it up or.
This is the way it worked at my house when I was a kid.
Really?
We got like I think that for a good chunk of my childhood, we had an hour a day.
Wow.
And yeah, same deal. You could.
I mean, I don't get that now. It'd be fine for me now, but
yeah, you could save it up. Yeah, I watch occasional random things on YouTube, Netflix, whatever. But yeah, I don't watch I literally don't watch regular TV at all.
I know.
Anymore. It's not even a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I got on the tangent from being sick, but like just being up in that room and having my wife like bring me like Lunchables and stuff, because like really I was so sick to go and get my flu swab. And by the way, that sucks. Have you ever had that?
Oh, you mean where they poke you in the back of the throat with a
up the nose?
Oh yeah, flu's up the nose.
I've never had it done before because I hadn't had the. Anyway, she was like, explaining. I was like, oh, I haven't had it done. I didn't know how deep she went.
Oh yeah, dude, they go in there.
That was terrible.
Yeah.
But anyway, she in 10 minutes is like, oh, no wonder you feel terrible. So at least it was. It made sense. It was a good job. They did the CVS Minute Clinic. I just needed to find out just so I could tell my job something.
Did you take the Tamiflu?
I did.
Okay.
I was luckily in that, and I did fine with it. Mm-hmm. The whole family took Tamiflu, including the 3. You just have to be 3 months old to be able to take it. So that probably helped. And by the time it left, but it was a good 3-4 days. But the fever just wouldn't go down for a long time. And I started getting real, like hallucinating and stuff. And anyway, it was really weird. Did okay with that. We all just finished our Tamiflu a couple days ago. My voice is still a little bit gone, but all the more reason for winter to be over and we can start this whole spring thing. E3, now that it is officially canceled for the first time in 20, 22 years.
RIP E3.
There's not a ton, but there was a few games that were going to be revealed there. There was going to be a new Batman game that was going to be revealed there. Do you know any other kind of stuff?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, there's always the third party things. I mean, there's
Yeah.
probably going to be a new Call of Duty. I'm sure they would have shown Cyberpunk 2077,
yeah.
which would have been a big deal. I'm sure there would have been a lot of things set up, to show off Doom Eternal, you
Yeah.
know. But that actually comes out here next week,
Yeah.
so it's already going to be out.
A lot of people, have some ill will towards E3 and how it's changed in the last few years, and I listen to people in the industry a little bit here and there,
I don't get it, honestly.
The Game Informer people, but they've been doing it for years and years and having to lug all the camera equipment and all these meetings. It's work for them. It's basically like hardcore work,
Yeah, because they have to be on 16 hours a day to get everything covered.
And for me,
that,
honestly, I was going to use the press pass as like an in. I would have done press for it, and I would have, I was changing things on the website. I was getting kind of emails formulated the way they wanted so they can see our demographics and everything. And so I was like, finger on the button. We were about to do it, and then so that really stayed. The 1 year we were going to do it, it didn't happen. So who knows what the future will hold?
I don't know. I
still think it's great.
I wish they would do is I went to the Kansas City Auto Show last week, right?
Uh-huh. Oh, so how was it?
It was awesome. So, I mean, there's probably like, I don't know, a couple 300, 400 cars in there or something.
I went 2 years ago.
Basically every major manufacturer brings in all the top models and all the new stuff. And it even like, there's some prototypes and various things all through there. But it's cool because you can walk through and it's like, okay, here's Audi stuff and here's Mercedes and then here's Chevy and here's Ford and here's the FCA Dodge stuff. Here's all the new Jeeps and here's the Volkswagens and so on. Maseratis. I mean, whatever you want.
Alfa Romeo.
But yeah, basically every car manufacturer, everything you could possibly think of is all crammed into this building. And each manufacturer has maybe like 10, 15 models of car, they're showing off. And I don't know, every time I go to something like that, I'm just like, God, why can't the video game industry just get together and like just have like a traveling, semi truck full of their junk that they just go unload in city after city after city after city just for people to go hang out and look at the new stuff, But I mean, I know that there's a lot of expense, that goes on to that, and in the world of computers and digital distribution and all that, it's easier to disseminate software than it is something big and heavy like a car. But
and those things you can't see, like you save a lot of time and people shop for that kind of thing. And video games, we have all that.
Well, and that's the thing, and it's a lot less money, so it's disposable. So you're not selling like these high ticket items. But I don't know. When I was walking around in there, I was like, God, it'd be cool if E3 was just like this traveling thing that just went around the country and did this, just like because I mean, it's not like these car manufacturers aren't in competition with each other, just like Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo and everybody else. Oops. But it would be cool if they just had like a sort of a traveling, ongoing, big production, thing like that.
Yeah.
And that's basically what E3 is. It's just a one-stop shop that only happens once a year, and so all those manufacturers and developers and media outlets and everybody else, they all put a lot of money and energy into like that one weekend, every year. And so in some ways, I'm sure it probably is a waste of money, for a lot of the people that actually go, because you're sort of drowned out because there's so many announcements that happen in 3 days.
Yeah. And it's, I think part of our culture, like in Japan, right? Big population, that would work, and that does work, and it's because more of their population plays video games.
And they're all and it's closer proximity too.
Yeah. But I remember going to the auto show. The people that are at the auto show, there's some people around my age, but I think like there's a good amount of people like 40s, 50s. Like there's all families and things like that. So, and also just the amount of volume for all those small games. Now, arcades and machines, they have some of those, I guess, like pinball shows and things like that.
There's some of that. But it's mostly pushing software,
Right, yeah, I know. It's soon maybe they'll have the like really cool like big VR junkets and things like that. Mm-hmm. So the VR will be so good you literally put on like a pair of glasses like they're reading glasses, and you're just in that world. Maybe another 10 years or so, we'll see. I don't know. But yeah, E3. Seriously though, the idea of these consoles coming out this year, I mean, there might be either a huge demand or a big delay.
Very much could happen.
Chipsets. Yeah. I remember when there was the tsunami, a lot of cars around 2012 that normally would have backup cameras. If you like look on Craigslist and you're buying a car that's 7-8 years old and you're like, why did the previous year have backup cameras? Now there's not any. I mean, that was a huge thing because all the backup cameras were manufactured where the fallout.
Yeah.
See, that's how ignorant I am. It's already a couple years and we forget about it.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the Fukushima reactor,
yes,
whatever that's
reactor.
called. Yeah,
Thank you. So, this is got a bigger trickle down than that. So, yeah, who I actually feel for out of everything is probably in television.
Oh, yeah. Like everybody that, like the big guys are not going to, they're the ones that are going to get their orders filled first when everything's back online. But yeah, like chipsets, like the Apples and the Dells and those kind of companies are going to end up going fine. But yeah, if you're a small manufacturer that's just making a few thousand units of a thing,
that
requires a microprocessor and all that, you might be in a world of hurt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. The other side of this too is, like Cyberpunk, out of all that might get delayed again, know? And I kind of like, shoot, now they missed that first window and other new games aren't coming out. Like, think about the potential of everybody buying that game, kind of like Grand Theft Auto type thing. I think it won't be as big as that because of the online, but
yeah, if Cyberpunk has a significant delay, I mean, it literally might close GameStop.
Oh,
like that might be the death knell, is just a game like that getting pushed back because, it pretty much killed them the first half of this year not having that game to be able to sell.
Yeah. Oh, you can hear it in my voice. I'm so bitter. I was so excited. I was going to go to LA. I was going to do the whole game.
Yeah, we were going to be like paparazzi.
Yeah, it was just, man. But something interesting. You started talking about GameStop. Did you hear that Reggie Fils-Aimé has joined the
Reginator?
Yeah, he's board of directors on the board of directors.
Yeah, man, he's going to Nintendo the crap out of GameStop now.
So how much do you? I started thinking about it. I was like, this is great, and then I started thinking, what if this is just another power move of giving a guy $400,000 to fill a chair, make some articles, and it's still gonna.
Yeah, it doesn't change. I can't help but think that it's a PR move.
Me too.
More than anything else, because honestly, it's like this sounds like...
Oh, tell us who that is in case we got layman's.
What's that?
Who is this guy?
Reggie Fils-Aimé. He's the former VP of, I think, marketing at Nintendo of America. So he's basically was the face of Nintendo of America for the last 15 years or so.
Yeah, I think the head, not even just marketing. I think the top. Because
he's like the guy of Nintendo of America. Yeah, like he's the face of Nintendo of America for sure. So I mean, aside from Shigeru Miyamoto and like Iwata, he's probably the most recognizable, person, on Nintendo's side. But he's the guy that gave all the, press conferences, all the, at E3, for instance. He's the guy that, would do all of the stuff that, he was the hype man.
Oh, yeah.
Company leader, hype man kind of thing.
And he was so awkward, but he started to get really endearing.
He sort of did. He just has, he's a very uniquely, he speaks in a very unique way. He's a very unique looking person, there's not anybody else that's like that guy. You know what I mean? He's just he is him. And so I think, at first I remember when he first came out, everybody was kind of like, oh, who is this guy?
Yeah.
But after he was around for a few years, he was kind of, just like a lot of people who get well known, he just had these certain quirks about him and stuff. But then he
embraced him.
Yeah, sort of. He kind of embraced it, and he was aware of. It's sort of like Chuck Norris being aware of Chuck Norris jokes and then kind of playing along with them. That became Reggie Fils-Aimé, and so through that, he became sort of an icon in the gaming community. Plus, he kind of was with Nintendo through their decline, and then also helped lead them through their resurgence.
Yep.
And so, that's his street cred, is that he brought Nintendo back from sort of the doldrums of GameCube and N64 before that to being a big contender again, up with the other big two.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So we'll see. Now that GameStop is really showing they kind of want to be a play and place, like these new prototype stores. I don't know if you've seen any. They're kind of popped up around other states.
Yeah, they're like stores, but hangouts. And that kind of thing.
Yeah. So you come and there's a big TV and you can sit and play Fortnite, and you can also play board games. They still have video games there, but the percentage of video games in these stores is knocked down to probably about 20% of what they have now.
It's like going into one of the Microsoft or Apple stores where the product's actually fairly minimal.
Yeah.
But it's more about the experience.
Yeah. So, and those type of things have popped up here and there just by mom and pop type things I've seen. And they're always like, hey, gaming, or put your kids and have a birthday party here. And, that's the thing. Are they going to have birthday party? No, they're not going to. And a lot of people would drop their kids off and just, their mom's next door or whatever.
It seems like an awkward business model to me.
Yeah, it's tough. I just kind of think that it's it. I still think like 2020, it's just,
that's kind of the thing with, I don't know, that's with GameStop. It's sort of like, I just don't see how any individual hire or whatever is going to stop the larger economic forces, especially now with, things like, this virus where nobody's leaving the house. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, people just don't go out anymore. They don't go to stores.
No,
it's just easier to buy and sell online. It's like I said, I think it's kind of ironic to say, but like, GameStop, which is a technology based retailer, is going to be destroyed by technology.
Yeah.
So will Best Buy and all the rest of them too. Not to sound like too much of a doomsayer, but I think the days of going to brick and mortar stores, continues to dwindle.
Yeah. Well, Target, Walmart still have their place, and but yeah, like little specialty stores that show up randomly. Like there's this store that was like called Beads Galore, where I think it's just knitting stuff and a certain demographic, like how we're all stupid and crazy about our video games. There's these ladies, maybe guys too, I don't know, but these ladies would get together and they were like, let's make a Beads Galore in an old Taco Bell.
Yeah.
And it didn't make it. It's
surprisingly enough.
Yes, it didn't make it, but every time I drove by, I even felt like, I kind of just want to go in, but then like they're going to get excited of someone going in there, and I'm not going to buy anything.
I know, I see stuff like that too on occasion. I just think like, oh my gosh, this is a horrible idea.
Yeah.
How are you going to keep yourself open?
I felt so bad, and now it's like a running store, but even that, I'm like, I don't know.
It's like I mean, not to diss on the beads ladies too much, but it's sort of like Dumb and Dumber, where they're like, we're going to open up a store called We Got Worms.
Yeah.
It's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Right now they live in our living room, but as soon as we get our store, it's going to be really a big deal. We're going to be at the forefront of worms.
Oh gosh. Oh man. As far as I'm concerned, hopefully Missouri GameCon is still a thing. The Midwest Gaming Classic, which was the Milwaukee one, that was also recently canceled.
Yeah, there's been several game-related conferences and get-togethers canceled. Yeah.
Portland is so far away; they have some time, but it's Portland. It's like that's where
it's like near the epicenter. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But considering how much has happened in China, and it's starting the trend down because they had it way before us, and we
I think South Korea too. It's trending down.
Yeah,
which one of the other first places hit?
Yeah. South Korea though also like they are just the model of just testing a ton of people.
Oh yeah, they were like on it.
Yeah.
More than any other place that's been hit so far.
Yeah, they were like, hey, these tests work, good, we can do it. Here we're like, well, CDC, let's just use their test and not use these others. Which, the massive testing is why, like, everybody's like, oh crap, South Korea's blowing up. Like, no, they've literally like tested 400 times.
No, man,
people.
They put that place on lockdown.
Yeah,
as soon as they found out about it. Yeah,
and all of Italy, the Pope. It was so sad when the Pope was coughing and stuff. I was like, oh.
Oh, I know. I kept seeing news reports about that, and then they'd be like, well, the Pope is coughing. And I'm like, well, does that mean he has it or something? No. And then they're always like, well, we don't really know, but he sure is coughing a lot.
Yeah, I know. It was confirmed he didn't. But what's funny is actually, if you kind of look, the Pope gets sick a lot. Like all the popes do. Like they meet so many people.
You have to be like 90 years old to become Pope.
Yeah. And
I mean, I'm not a Catholic, but that's what it seems like. They're always old.
Yeah, there's hugging and kissing, and they kiss your hand. I mean... Yeah, and Italy too. Everybody's like, "Oh gosh, why is Italy so bad?" No, they smoke a lot. Okay, so I already found that susceptibility of the smoking. So if you're a smoker, wash your hands a lot.
Fist bumps.
Yeah, because in China, like 80%, 89% of the men smoke. Like no joke, it's crazy.
Really, is that high?
And so that's also why initially men were found a lot higher than women. And women,
I
it's
actually
about
did
20%.
read that. Yeah.
And also, if you've ever been to an Italian bakery, it's like, you greet people by kissing them. Mm-hmm. So that whole place is very like men kiss each other every day, every second. Your buddies are kissing. Before the podcast, we'd be kissing each other. That would be if we were in Italy. So, but anyway, back to Mo Game Con. As of right now, that's still a thing. Since for better or for worse, it's a smaller con. For me right now, I still want to go with my family, but they don't have to go to the con. We can just hang out with friends, and I could be the one going. Mm-hmm. But they'll still come along with me, and by then, again, not everybody's traveling in like all these other big shows. So hopefully that's still a thing. But obviously we'll be first to let you know. That'll be August. So still June, July. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine by then.
Yeah, we still have some time. But looking forward to that. I don't think they've announced anything or anything like that.
No,
but
they probably won't for at least a couple of months.
Yeah.
It's far enough out.
Yeah, but we'll definitely be wanting to go. Some other news, just real quick. That PS3 kiosk. My good friend of mine that was going to send it to me from Australia. It was. Our customs, I guess. I've been dealing with logistics. It's so funny when you feel like you're a smart person, right? Because when you get in your 30s, you have kids, you're a parent. I now get why older people get so hung up on certain things, because I'm already like that too. Like us on the Blippi and everything else.
Oh yeah.
10 years ago, 15, we wouldn't have cared.
Nope.
We wouldn't have cared at all, and now I care a lot.
No, see, the problem is you get older, you start understanding that your time is finite.
Yes.
And you don't want to spend it watching Blippi.
Yes. So, but anyway, sorry to go back onto Blippi, but what I was getting at was I don't know how to logistically get something overseas to a port and then through customs and then through all these extra little fees and holding and whatever and certain kind of things. I was, like I said, I was getting it for a song, but it turns out the leg from LA to Kansas City, it's like, I was trying to get confidence in this logistic guy kind of saying hey, I don't know how this works. Can you give me the bottom line? And I would get all these emails of all these extra fees and things. And eventually I'm like, am I buying a car or a house? Or are you taking advantage? I didn't say that, but you end up feeling a little taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Because, okay, there's this fee and this fee. So that's 100. So just say 100 of this, 100 of that. Just at the end of the day, there's red tape and all this other stuff. But what if there's a chance this thing gets held up in customs because there's no certificate of origin of being manufactured in Australia? This is the PlayStation 3 kiosk that's extra cool in red and black. And so that's another thing that I need. And evidently there's not fees on duties. But anyway, it's now looking like, I don't know if it'll still happen. It just bites because there's still a chance. It's not officially closed the door. And it's not like my buddy's out. He can sell it locally in Australia. He was just doing me a huge solid. But anyway, it's still up in the air. But man, it kind of stinks to you're kind of you always think the other person on the other end is is this a used car kind of deal, or is this once you lose all the leverage of having something sent to you when it's not in your possession until it actually is in your possession, kind of feels a little helpless. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I think it does. I mean,
or am I too? Maybe I'm too sensitive to it.
No, it seems odd to me. I mean, I haven't ever really done anything on anything that big.
Yeah, me neither.
I have domestically, but not internationally.
Yeah, me neither.
And I hear about I don't know, Facebook groups and stuff cars, people in Europe buying American cars and having them shipped over in a container.
Yeah.
And then hoping the container arrives at the right place and all this kind of, that is just so scary to me.
Yes.
But I don't have any experience, shipping internationally.
Yeah. Well, the leg to LA is fine. That's it's on a boat and everything, but the guy I know kind of helps with that. But it's the other leg where I was okay, I talked to the guy on the other end of the phone.
You need to plan a road trip, dude.
Shoot.
Get a U-Haul trailer.
Yes. LA.
Drive out to LA, pick up your kiosk.
Yeah. Well, I still have the customs thing, but anyway, we'll see. We'll see. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. I'm just oh gosh, dang. I was getting so excited about it. And anyway, at the end of the day, it's not a big deal. We get a lot of things, but I'm also not going to spend it's already looking like a ton of money. So at the end of the day, you give it the old college try. If it doesn't work out, we have our other kiosks.
You should have him smuggle a couple of wallabies with it.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
And a koala.
Yeah, they probably would like the PlayStation, play along. Wallabies and koalas probably get along. Dingoes.
Is a dingo a real thing?
Yeah. Dingo looks like a dog. It's a small dog.
What?
Uh-huh.
I always thought a dingo was just like an imaginary Australian thing.
It looks kind of like it's got a long tail. It's kind of like a thin dog with like a pointy nose. It looks more like a dog than a wolf, but they also are kind of like scavengery. They're kind of like
hyenas.
Yeah, a hyena raccoon.
A hyena raccoon is a dingo.
Kind of like more like how a raccoon's all like digging in stuff and like kind of a scavenger. I think more than anything.
Yep. You know what the coolest thing about Australia is?
Well, I was just realizing all these people from Australia that may or may not be
You mean
listening.
the people from Australia that send us emails about how incorrect we are about Australia all the time? Every time we talk about Australia, we get an email saying you don't know anything about Australia.
Yeah, so maybe I don't know anything about dingoes. But
the toilet water goes the other direction.
It does.
It does. Yeah,
yes.
Coriolis effect.
Yes. And I tested it, and I have it on video when I tested this in 2001.
I would go to Australia, just like get off the plane in the airport, check the toilet water. You're like, yep, goes the wrong direction, get on the plane, fly back.
So the funniest thing happened, and this is before YouTube. This is 2001, 2002. I had a camcorder, and we go and test this. And we're in a hotel, and we open this up. And the end of the story is probably not that good to the lead up, but basically, like, we forget toilets don't really spin down much, hardly at all. Like, it's hard to find one. Mm-hmm. So we ended up trying to find 5-6 different types of toilets that didn't just go because like it's just like we're all together, we're all in the bathroom, we flush the toilet and it's like a bomb going off and it just sucks the water down. We're just like maybe is there any other way we could test this?
Man, it's those high pressure Australian toilets.
Yeah, so they're probably like stupid Americans, like thinking this is all we do.
All these Americans keep getting off the planes and checking our toilets for the water direction.
Yeah,
they're so stupid,
wasting all our water. So anyway, I still don't know because I went down there and I was down in Australia 2-3 weeks, almost 20 years ago. And geez, now. And I still don't know. I do know.
I'm gonna have to go one of these days.
Hey, drinking age is 18. That
that doesn't benefit me now.
Well, it does, but not as much as it would when you were 18. Yes. Just drinking in general, I meant. But yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm getting too smart alecky. The night I was talking about it with my wife and like, okay, so I'm already planning like future trips. Like, is this what you do as a parent? Because this is all I do. I just plan trips in my head that I'm going to take literally years and years away.
Oh yeah. We have traveled a lot with our kids, and
you have, yeah.
Yeah,
we're gonna wait, but
that's smarter. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because my wife was like, "Where do you want to go?" And I'm like, I don't care. She's like, well, you should have a thing. And I'm like, we're going to have the kids. It's going to be, I can have everybody mad at me here. I can have everybody mad at me there. Here is cheaper.
Right. The beach thing is a good idea. Like the thing Shane does, I think will be a good early trip.
Yeah, that's the thing
you
to
just
do.
go to a beach, you get a timeshare.
That's what we do. You get a place on the beach. Don't plan on doing anything else. Just hang out on the beach.
Yeah.
That's the best way to do it.
And then the other thing would be going to Australia when they're like teenagers. Like if you want to say like 14 and 11 or something, or maybe like 12 and 15
on a
or
walkabout.
16. Yeah. Like I feel like that would be a good time because you don't want to go too young because Australia is expensive. Well, unless it's during a pandemic, but most of the time it's expensive.
It's probably not right now.
Yeah, Hawaii, right? Have you heard that? $200, $250, something.
Yeah,
like that?
No, I know Hawaii's gone down because I go to Hawaii for work, and it's significantly cheaper right now. Than what it has been.
And going to the expensive cities right now, like Seattle, which you shouldn't go to Seattle, but like all the weird expensive cities are like under $100. It is just bizarre.
Yeah, they're just like begging people to go.
Yeah, there's no way I'm getting on a plane because I have a family. But like if I was single, I would risk it.
Oh yeah. No, if you could go by yourself or just like you and one other person or whatever that was like an adult, I would totally be travel. I'd be buying plane tickets right now like nobody's business. Like for the next 2 years, I'd be booking travel.
Yeah, I can now see when because now having 2 kiddos, it is different than one, right? You and I both have 2 kids, and Shane had 3. And at the time, I don't even think Sebastian was quite born yet. It was a few months, but when Shane was in the thick of it and had like 3 kids in diapers, and we went to Portland the first time when I was with Shane and my friend Chris, we saw Sonic. We could talk about that. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That was so long ago.
Yeah,
the movie.
yeah.
But Shane was just like, I've talked about it on the podcast, I guess, before, but like he would just do double takes over his shoulder. Like his brain was so wired at looking at kids all the time.
Oh, yeah.
When he didn't have kids, it took him probably a full day to like get out of that mindset.
Yeah. No, the weird thing about having like 2 mobile children like I do right now that are in everything all the time is how much silence frightens you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, silence used to be like this, like, it's nice and quiet. This is good. But now it's like, if I'm like working on the computer or something, and then all of a sudden I don't hear noise.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are they into? What are they doing? Are they eating things they shouldn't be eating? Are they getting into things? Are they playing with the electrical outlet? Are they in the kitchen drawer? Are they, like, what are they doing? Because they're doing something not good if I can't hear them.
Yeah, out of sight, out of mind. We had something like that too, where Sebastian, there was something that he never messes with. And when other people watch our kids, it isn't often, but when they do things that they don't do with us. Like they'll like quickly like grab something or run somewhere and try to touch something they're not allowed to touch.
Yeah, man. The same with they're testing the water. Same thing they get away with.
But it's like annoying because then we'll get a call like, oh, they did this, and I'm like, what? He never does that. Like, yeah, okay, well, we'll put it up next time. Like it's not a big deal usually. Like it is. Yeah, kids are
wild, dude.
Yeah, kids are different.
My little baby, her new thing right now is she won't keep her diaper on.
Oh, we
we
haven't had that,
which is awesome. She figured out how to get it off.
Uh-huh.
And so I literally, when I'm at home with her, I put her diaper on 20 times a day.
Oh, wow.
Like she takes it off, come here, let me put this thing back on. And not only does she take it off, she knows she's not supposed to take it off. So she'll take it off, she holds it up over her head, like, you know the scene in Predator where he's like up in the tree and he's holding like the skull and the spine or whatever, like, there's my trophy. That's what she does with her diaper. And she's doing it because that is her way of giving me just the middle finger. Yeah. You aren't really in control here because watch, I control you with this diaper.
Yeah. Yeah, it is very true.
But they absolutely do. They figure out the little things that they can do to get to you, and then they exploit it.
Gosh, yeah. And it's funny how like I hear stories like that. Like some kids take off their. Luckily, Sebastian never took it off. We don't know yet. The other one's 4 months old. All she does is smile. She can't even hold herself up yet. Which here's the other, like, we plan on being a two kiddo family.
Yeah, I think that's where we're at.
Yeah, you never know what'll happen, yada yada. But like, this is the last time we have a 4-month-old, and the last time, and it's really sweet to see. And I get it because they aren't babies very long, man.
No, they're not, man. Mine's already turning into like a full-blown toddler kid, kind of like I said, she's verbal now. She's already figured out the whole way to like game the system,
Yeah, but they're very unique. Like you can already tell a big difference between the brother and sister, and he's not super interested in his sister right now, but she like is very smiley and likes everybody and already gets shy and like just doesn't cry a lot. We have this thing that comes over where they test our kids just because it's part of the community thing in the school district we live in. So like once a month we have like a child specialist just check milestones and like talk to us and give us free books and random stuff. I'm like, taxpayer, I'm paying for this, so take advantage of it. It's a great little system. But one of the questions we had today was like, well, how is it when she cries? And I just realized how lucky we are. But like, Daphne just isn't a crier. She rarely ever cries, and if she does, it's just to let us know something.
Yeah.
And like I was saying, a credit to my wife, like she's got the sleep training thing down, and she sleeps 10-12 hours a night. She goes down easy. Both of our kids were good sleepers. Now the other stuff when they're awake, you can't have your cake and eat it too. But like going down and sleeping at night, just being my wife and I just think about how hard that would be if we were up. Like they get sick, there's off nights or something like that. But like you were saying sometimes how some nights it's like super, super tough.
Oh, it's awful.
Oh, yeah. And like,
oh yeah, no, I know what you're talking about, because the way my kids are programmed right now is that my son fight sleep. He acts like going to bed is like losing the battle.
Yeah.
Right? And so he will just vehemently fight sleep. And
Yeah.
so you just can't get him to sleep. And once he goes to sleep, he is out like a light.
yeah,
You know,
because he probably wore himself
yeah,
out.
because he wears himself out. So he tries to stay up as late as he possibly can, and you can barely get him to go to bed. And then my daughter, the 2-year-old, she's a really, really light sleeper. So the smallest noise will wake her up, and then she also will wake up intermittently, during the night. And so she's 2 years old, and she's gotten actually in the last couple of weeks better about sleeping through the night.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, up to this point, it's still gotten up, 1 to 3 times every night. So you're talking about like 2-hour snippets of sleep all night long, every single night, day after day after day after day, week after week, month after month,
Yeah.
for a couple of years. And then people are always like, why are you crabby? And I'm like, because I haven't slept more than, 4 contiguous hours, in 2 years. Yeah, it'll make you a little bit crabby. And it wears
Yeah.
on you a little bit too,
Yeah.
And, and then, with this big gaming hobby and all the rest of it that we have. But it's kind of sad. But in the last couple of years, there are times like I'll come home in the evenings and I'll have an hour or something, to do something or kick around and play a game or,
Yeah.
Do something with the collection or whatever else. And sometimes I'm just like, man, I'm just going to sit here.
Yes. Yeah. I've been doing that more. No, I completely relate. I'd say the last couple years, I've had a lot of like little tasks that years ago I would have just
Oh yeah,
knocked
would not have been a thing at all. Yeah.
And I make the choice and I'm like, I would be happier just existing for a second, just spacing out or watching a little documentary, watching something on YouTube, but not like trash stuff, just like something actually interesting.
But that's why, like in the last 2 or 3 years, man, my gaming habits have changed so much. I mostly play arcade games, arcade style games, shooters, and platformers. That's like it.
Yeah.
There are no RPGs. There are no long form games. I don't play Red Dead Redemption 2. Any of that.
It's funny to think of the stages that some of our listeners are like new dads. Some of them are grandparents. Some of them aren't dads at all. But I feel like there's this stage that happens that if you're just now like about to have a kid or something like that, this next step of like realizing that like something like an RPG, I'm like, I'll find time for that in 10 years or something. And now I'm like, there's no way on God's green earth I'm ever going to play this anymore.
Exactly. Like I have all these PS1 RPGs on the shelf behind me.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like,
even
by the time I have time to play any of them, I'll probably be too blind to read the text.
Oh, yeah. Or even okay, let's not go crazy in RPG. Metal Gear Solid for PS1.
Oh, yeah.
I think about playing that game. But like,
I have actually started Metal Gear Solid 1
Oh, really?
multiple times over the last like 3 or 4 years.
Oh, you've actually even done it.
I always play about halfway through it, and then like this requires so much concentration and there's so much else going on. I can't do it. And then like 6 months or a year will go by, and then I'll restart it. And so I've played the first half of Metal Gear Solid 1 like a whole bunch of times.
It's a great game.
Yeah.
It's great. The first half is wonderful. But now I get like, honestly, if I do it, you know what? I probably watch someone do it.
Pro tip: if you do it, play the GameCube version. Play Twin Snakes.
Yep, I had that.
Yeah.
That's actually the last time I played it.
Twin Snakes is fantastic. It's. I know you get shot for saying this, but it's far superior to the original PS1 version.
Oh no, it is. It's I mean, it's basically like one of the first HD collection upgrades to a degree.
Yeah, total
Even though it's not
remake,
HD, I know that.
yeah.
I know that,
but it. I mean, the PS1 version is actually the one I'm talking about. That I've tried to play several times. But yeah, if you only have one to play and you've never played it before, just play the GameCube version.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Total redesign from the ground up. It's great.
Oh yeah, great. And but even where the original still holds up pretty well outside of a lot of systems and things in place, and the controller layout is a little weird, but. Yeah, and I mean, shoot, while I'm talking Metal Gear, because we hardly ever talk about Metal Gear on this podcast, but Metal Gear Solid 2, I recently watched this kind of retro revival, but that game, too, was amazing.
They're all amazing, yeah, they're all good.
Gosh, like...
Even the new one, Metal Gear Solid 5, which I think actually got overshadowed by some other concurrent games that came out around the same time.
Yeah.
Still an excellent game.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, and that was one that's a more modern game of this idea of, I'll get to it someday. That's my game for that too. I've never played that one. I haven't popped that one in.
No, they're all good. The only one that I did not really play much at all was 3. which I think everybody loves. But I played pretty much all of them, to a fair extent, other than 3.
So I played 1 and 2, some of 4, and none of the PSP ones I heard were good. But honestly, I was kind of at the point of...
Did you ever play Metal Gear Rising Vengeance on PS3? Sort of the hack and slash Platinum Games kind of version of it?
I did,
yeah.
Yes.
A lot of people hate that game. I actually like it.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
It's entertaining.
Yeah, I've heard good things. I've seen the special edition is pretty cool. Do you have that? That's big sword or something?
No, I just have the regular version.
Okay. Just because you have a lot of special editions. That one was pretty cool because it's got one of those like Spencer Gifts type. It's like one of those like geobes that are all electric that you think are really cool and you had in your bedroom when you were like 12.
That's what most collector's editions are. You're like, oh, I'm going to spend twice as much money. Then you get the stuff. You're like, oh, I got this game I'm going to play, and then a bunch of junk that I'm never going to look at again.
Is that a thing anymore? This is a good video game dad's podcast tangent. Do you remember like back when you had those friends that were kind of edgy and maybe did stuff they weren't supposed to do?
Oh, I was the edgy friend.
Oh yeah,
that's not true.
You see all your tattoos and all your old piercings.
That's why I got the mohawk and the ear stretcher things.
Yep. And then the nose is plugged up. You don't have the holes in there either.
Yeah.
You had the wishbone hanging between both nostrils. Mm-hmm. I'm just imagining that. Oh, geez.
Anywho, as you were saying.
Sorry. Like, do kids nowadays still do like the colorful posters with the black light with the mushrooms on it?
I don't think that's a thing anymore, man.
And like
when the felt poster
lava lamps and stuff.
When the felt poster market crashed, that's when Spencer Guest really took a nosedive.
Like, what does a teenage bedroom look like now? I have no idea.
I don't know, man. It's
like what's
teenagers now are all like
they've been in their rooms.
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's probably like
because you're on your phone. Why would you care about
decorating? It's full of either Fortnite and Minecraft stuff, or I don't know. It's sort of
teenagers too cool for like video games.
It's sort of funny. I feel like teenagers and kids these days. I feel like they're far less rebellious than we were when we were kids, or even our parents.
Yeah.
Were when they were kids. Like
maybe, yeah.
I mean,
we don't have teenagers yet.
That's true. I mean, I don't, and that's not universally true across the board.
Yeah.
But at work and stuff, we have teenagers coming through for classwork and to shadow people and learn stuff.
No,
and
actually,
else.
we have that too.
And so I meet these kids, and I'm like, wow, these kids like this 18-year-old seems like she's going to be a senator here in a couple of years. That
I've
kind
got
of
a couple of those too.
Like I just meet all these kids, guys and gals both. And they all just seem like, oh yeah, this is somebody I think could vote, and I wouldn't feel bad about them being able to vote,
right?
That kind of thing. And then I think back and maybe that it's skewed like the people that are coming in. For
That's
that
what
kind
I was
of
gonna
thing.
say, because we're getting cream of the crop because we have volunteers and stuff, and those kids are like the top probably 5%.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. But I always think like, wow, these kids seem like they really got it figured out, kind of thing. And then I think about all the kids I went to high school with, and I'm like. Yeah, they seem like they're, a little bit more on the ball.
Kicking cans, playing hacky sack, man.
Yeah,
we would skip class and play hacky sack. Do you know how much fun I would have doing that right now?
Did you hear a question?
Okay.
Did you own a pair of Jinkos?
Of course.
Oh yeah, Jinkos.
Yep, JNCO, baby. The thing is,
they used to size them by the width of like the leg or whatever. I had jeans you couldn't even see my shoes.
I feel like, easy.
Yeah.
I feel like Jinkos. The only reason they haven't made a comeback is because not enough people listen to this podcast.
That's right. Well, let's bring Jinkos back, baby.
Because everything else has been back. Yeah. Acid wash jeans.
Yeah, man. You get a pair of Airwalks, some Jinko jeans.
I'm out of style, man. It's funny. Like now I get how parents. I mean, this whole thing is a big.
Doc Martens are coming back.
Yeah. I feel like being a parent is figuring things out because now you get why like parents wear lame clothes. Do you know why we wear lame clothes? Because we're at that point now. We literally give no S's at all.
Yeah. We are out of S's to give.
Yes, absolutely no. No, we have no F's or S's to give. And it's funny because I have some shirts that I have had for 18, 20 years. This sweatshirt I'm wearing right now, I remember buying it in 2002. It looks about the same as it has since 2003 or 4.
So the other day, I'm
not going to get rid of it.
I'm like at Target with both my kids, and the baby, I've been like holding her at the house and everything else. And then, so I'm walking through Target, and some lady looked at me kind of weird. Yeah. And I looked down at my sleeve, and I have like snot, like dried snot stains.
Yeah, I got that too.
I have like
now. Look at that.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, see,
I have like they're like 6 or 8 inches long. I have like 3 of them, like right next to each other. It looks like Wolverine.
Yeah.
Hit me like in my shoulder and drug it down, but his blades, instead of being knives, were just like snot rags. And
here's the thing.
She's looking at the snot on my shirt, and I just kind of look down at it, and I'm like, "So what, lady?"
Exactly. I was going to ask you. Normally, when we would see something like that,
I gave 0 S's.
Yes. Normally, when we would see that, we'd be like, "Oh my god, I'm so self-conscious." The joke would be we didn't realize it. No, the joke is we don't care.
Yeah, 10 or 15 years ago, I would have been like, "Oh my god, I got to get out of the store. I'm embarrassed for myself," and now I'm just like, "Yeah, it's not. I'm sorry. That's where I'm at in life. I'm now a rag."
Yeah. Yeah, I just watched like today when someone was over, that person over to do the education stuff, and Sebastian was getting real needy because normally that lady's there for him, but now they were here for Daphne to see her mile. Like, can she stick her head up? And she tried to turn over and yada yada. And Sebastian was always got the toys, and he kept trying to look in her bag because she would bring all these toys for him every month over the past couple years or every 2 months. And then, he goes up to my wife and just like, rubs his nose on her shoulder just in front of, company and stuff. He's just like, putting his legs all over and kicking all this other crazy stuff. I'm so embarrassed. It's like, okay. So most of the time, I don't care what my kid does to me. It more just like, what he'll do to someone else, I guess. But yeah, you just don't care. And I know that there's new fashion out there. There's things that I don't even know what like I said, before I say, what are the kids into? No, I mean, I don't know.
No, neither do I.
I don't know. And I want the answer.
And that's why there are all these things that I keep hearing referenced on like podcasts and stuff. And then I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about. Like everybody keeps talking about Post Malone.
Oh, okay. I know who that is.
Yeah. I mean, I know who like the picture of the guy is, but I know nothing else about that guy other than that.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I don't want to know anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm perfectly fine like being on this side of ignorance, with regard to some of that stuff.
Yeah, he makes more money than me in a month in my lifetime.
Oh yeah.
That's all I need to know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but you get what I'm saying. Like there are some of the few benefits of being like a parent who's getting older is that like some of the things in society that I don't really care to know about, don't really have to know about them unless I want to investigate.
Yeah.
But it is sort of funny. I mean,
Post Malone, I could tell you who he is. He's a teammate of John Stockton, and he would go up and shoot the ball. Sorry, I don't. That's a bad joke. It's Karl Malone, but he would post up. Gosh,
this guy's not Karl Malone.
I should have kept that in my head. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, Post Malone that's what they mean to us. That's why I looked up the Billie Eilish, because everybody was talking about her.
See, I hear that name. I have no idea who that is.
See, and I saw when I ended up randomly there was some clip on or some Ellen had one of this comedian lady on, and then she got surprised by this Billie Eilish person who she ends up talking like a female Justin Bieber. And I'm just kind of like,
doesn't Justin Bieber talk like a female Justin Bieber?
Touche. And so I at first was like, why is everybody so enamored with her? And then I'm like, instead of me just being confused and upset and angry, I like looked it up and I'm like, okay, she's basically this generation's Fiona Apple.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's what I needed to figure out.
No, that's what I'm saying, man. The more it changes, the more it stays the same.
Yeah.
I mean, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it does. The cyclicalness of this, that's why I think we're in this weird mode of like, we know we're in the thick of it. We've got young kids. The silver lining probably is where we do kind of like when they get to like preteen and teenage years where we're like, hey, 5 more years, just don't mess up to the point where you don't have to leave.
Don't do anything that's irreparable. Although the cool thing is my 6-year-old is starting to get to the point where he's good to play games with. Like we can chill on the couch, and he's
awesome.
He's competent enough now that he can play games.
That's awesome,
and we can do it together. Like I was saying the other night, we were playing Mario Odyssey, and I gave him a choice between like, okay, we're gonna play like a big epic game together, and you're gonna play. I'm just gonna be here for moral support, or if you can't beat a boss, right? But you need to play like a linear, or not linear, but a one player driven story that's a long game. right?
Yeah.
And so I gave him a choice between Breath of the Wild and Odyssey.
Yeah.
So we're doing Odyssey right now, but I think we'll spend another month or two on it and really fill that game all the way out and try to get all the power moons and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And then I think we're going to move on to Breath of the Wild.
Awesome.
I think he's ready for it.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard my nephew really got into it. He wasn't nearly as young. I mean, he was like nephew age. He was like 12 or whatever. But I've heard so many people take to this. Even people who don't like play video games. There was some person, some actor or something, and she was like, maybe like 27, female, like hardly plays any games, and like would play. She played like 180 hours or something so far of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. So I've got a friend at work who has been playing. His daughters, he has two daughters, and they're both a little bit older than my son, but they have been playing Breath of the Wild religiously.
Yeah.
Like every day in the evenings, kind of after school, before bedtime, for an hour or two every night, and they literally have logged like 300 hours on it.
Yeah.
Between him and the kids, and they've played all the way through the main campaign, through like Master Quest, the Master whatever it's called.
Well, you played more of that than I have.
I probably put about 100 hours on Breath of the Wild.
I didn't know
total.
that.
Yeah.
I remember you started to play it.
I started it, and then I stopped it, and then I started it again, and then I've kind of intermittently played it, here and there, on the way through. But I've not beat it, and sort of purposefully so. I basically went through and like did all the shrines and a whole bunch of side quests, and just kind of. I play it the same way I play Grand Theft Auto 5 now, where I basically just boot it up and goof off for like an hour.
That's nice, man.
and then I go on, but I'm doing that somewhat purposefully because. Breath of the Wild, I feel like, is sort of the I don't really know what the right term is, but sort of the magnum opus of the Switch right now. It still is, even though it was one of the first games released.
Yeah.
So I don't want to beat it yet because I don't want to beat it until my kid can play it and beat it with me.
Oh, that's endearing.
So that's kind of why I want to restart it with him playing through it, because I've already seen the big majority of the game.
Yeah.
But I want to sit there and watch him play through it, and then eventually us to beat it together.
Totally makes me want to play it. I know it's great. I know you don't have to be into Zelda to like it. I've never been like an elf person.
It is, and to be clear, it is, and this is because I'm old, but it is by far not my favorite Zelda game. Like I would still put several other Zeldas in my personal preference
I love
above it.
The handhelds, man. Minish Cap.
Oh yeah, the handheld
one.
Zeldas. I would put, Link to the Past, probably Ocarina of Time still.
The first Zelda is really good too.
Yeah,
the very first one's so good.
Wind Waker is actually my personal favorite Zelda. That's a very polarizing game. People either love it or hate it.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate Twilight Princess. I love Twilight Princess. I probably still like Twilight Princess better than Breath of the Wild. I mean,
ask me my favorite, and I'm gonna rock your world.
What's your favorite?
Even all the listeners are gonna be stupid. I like Minish Cap.
I've heard a lot of people like Minish Cap.
I really like Minish Cap because
I really like Link's Awakening. The new remake of Link's Awakening is awesome.
Yeah. I think that's nice that so many people have different. It's probably not going to be Skyward Sword for anybody, but
no. And honestly, as much hate as Skyward Sword gets, I don't hate it as much as it's not my favorite one. It is kind of the sort of underappreciated or the one that nobody really likes that much, but it's not as bad as what people make it out to be.
What about isn't there like a Skyforce Heroes or Triforce? There's that one.
Yeah, Triforce Heroes. Yeah, but I don't really consider that to be a like your typical Zelda game. It's sort of a side. I mean, it's kind of like Hyrule Warriors or one of those. It's sort of a side Zelda. It's kind of like Four Sword Adventures for GameCube. Which, speaking of, is a fantastic game, especially to play multiplayer.
Yes.
With plugged-in Game Boy Advances.
Yes, yeah, I agreed.
Actually, one of the I like legit believe that's one of the pinnacles of multiplayer gaming. Is for those that don't know, it's Four Sword Adventures is a game you play on the GameCube, but there's a cable where you can hook your Game Boy Advances to your GameCube. And then 4 of you can play the game together on your Game Boy Advances on the GameCube.
Yep.
Sounds crazy, and it is, but it's awesome.
Yep, and it works.
Yeah, it totally works.
Yeah, Game Boy Advance is a weird thing. I was telling you earlier that, like, something very simple that I didn't know until recently was that there's a bunch of Rumble games like Drill Dozer, WarioWare Twisted, and a couple others that had a little rumble in the game, even Game Boy Color. And there's the Game Boy Player for the GameCube, the little bottom GBA game. you know, the Rumble, the cart knew about the GBA player, so it had a basically it activated itself when it was in there. Basically, it wasn't like just what am I trying to say? Like this is before like downloads and everything, because that would be a thing now.
They made it where the Rumble on your GameCube controller worked through the Game Boy player.
Yes, which is crazy to think that. Okay, take all this away. The game is on a cart, and the cart is supposed to vibrate, and somehow they coded it to be able to tell your Game Boy player to then go to your controller and then make your controller rumble. It's just the engineering to that, even though it's a very simple thing, that had to have taken some time.
Yeah, no, there's cool stuff like that. I mean, even the original like Super Game Boy, there are original Game Boy games that came out later in the Game Boy's lifespan.
Yeah.
That have certain color palettes that were picked out for when you play on your Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
On the Game Boy player had different, I think even different music and some different levels, different borders,
different levels and borders.
All kinds of stuff. Yeah. So there's some of the later games like had all these neat little bells and whistles that you could only unlock by playing it on a Game Boy player on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's bizarre. Something else. Just shout out to if you're someone who likes to get deals. I know a lot of times, like on our upcoming handheld holo. I think I've said this before, but the GameStop deal of the day that is every day. That's online only. When you go, it updates midnight Central Time every night. Those deals are very, very good. I think I might have mentioned this last time. But randomly they're going to have like $30, $40 games. And I've picked up a Switch game for $3. That Killer Queen Black. Yeah. It was technically $8, but I had
that's a cool game too.
The $5 coupon that they give now instead of the percentage off the used games. I got a Switch game that was, when they take their new stock and make it look old for $3. So the GameStop deal of the day, I think I checked it today. It was like Dark Souls or something like that for like $6. You have to kind of be lucky enough to have it close enough that you can pick it up, or they can send it to your home or something like that. And I haven't got a ton of stuff like, it's a deal of the day. They've had like 150 of them. I've maybe gotten 4 or 5 of them. But one I got was the Switch controller, the Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
Those are notoriously expensive. Shane has gone on record on this podcast many times saying he's gone through like 8 of them. So he buys the warranty. When his kids break them, he just gets a replacement. But before he did that, he went through a ton because the grip. And I think his son, just the way he plays, I think he's a little rough. Even though it's like he's a kid, we have more hand strength than that. His kid shouldn't be able to break that thing consistently, but evidently his child is a little baby Hulk, but basically breaks it all the time. They had a deal of the day, 2 controllers, Joy-Con controllers, the like neon ones. It was like it was like $30 total or something. It was like $15 each. And I picked it. They sent it to me. I was thinking, great, they're going to break. I'm just going to return them. They're like in perfect condition.
Yeah.
So I think it was $27. 2 brand new Joy-Cons, and those are normally $80, I think.
Yeah, $79.
So that's the GameStop deal of the day. You can.
Yeah, it's worth it. I don't check it every day, but I do randomly check it.
Yes.
Here and there.
Yeah. So shout out to you if looking for good presents or gifts for the kids if they're a little bit older. That deal of the day thing is great, but you do have to buy it online and then pick it up in the store.
The nice thing about the Switch is there is like if you get on Amazon or Best Buy or pretty much any like online retailer or even in stores, I mean Walmart or whatever, I'm pleasantly surprised to see that there are a large selection of Switch games that seem to be reasonably priced.
Fine, yeah, they're getting to it.
Yeah, I mean you can get a lot of games for $20 or so that are pretty good games, and even the first party Nintendo stuff, like if you catch it just right. They're routinely now less than $40. They'll have sales on around $39 or at least less than $50. Unlike previous generations where the first party Nintendo games like pretty much stay at $60 and don't ever budge.
Well, the player's choice.
Yeah, I mean aside from when they go player's choice, they give them a new cover. Yes. Or something like that. But but the one trend that I wish would die is the boxes that just have the download codes inside of them.
Yeah,
because there is a whole plethora of those for Switch right now. Yeah, I haven't figured out exactly how many they are, and my problem is, and I doubt that it will ever happen, but I sort of have a pipe dream of having a complete Switch collection someday.
Whoa!
But then the do you count the boxes they sell with just the download codes?
You would if you're crazy.
Yeah, you would if you're nuts.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are like $10. And it's like, but even at $10, you're buying a download code for $10 on a game that you could probably just download for $3.
Yes, that is a nice thing. Yeah, and I do like the little rewards programs. Like, it's funny, I have a good amount of Switch games, but I'm sure it's less than both you and Shane. And actually, does Michael even have a Switch?
I need to actually total up how many Switch games I have. I'm not sure how many I've got.
Does Michael have a Switch?
No, he still doesn't.
Huh.
He's a holdout.
Good for him, I guess. I mean, my brain's just like, I really like my Switch. I don't play it, it's not my, but I like, I have grown to really like it. I was hesitant on it, but I really like it. But like, good for him if he's finding a way of existing without
I'm telling you, man, if you like old school platformers, shmups, 2D stuff, and you're not like a total graphics hawk, then Switch pretty awesome little system.
Well, and Shane was always on the podcast, because he didn't play handhelds, and he still right? Isn't he? He thinks the Switch is just. Isn't he think like it's a handheld? Really, he doesn't feel like it's a console. He wants Nintendo to make a console. Isn't that kind of his?
That's kind of I think so.
That's kind of his
yeah, he plays it on the TV, I think, primarily. I play my Switch almost exclusively in handheld mode, personally.
Me too. Yeah.
So I consider it more of a handheld, and I consider my PS4 more of my console.
Yes.
So to speak, my air fingers quote console.
Yeah.
So I play with my Switch, primarily when I'm playing with my kids, and I play my PS4 primarily when I'm playing by myself.
Yeah.
But, to each their own.
I just started playing my Switch a whole lot more because, the first 2 year, whatever, I play it more now that I have that really good grip. That grip that I showed you, that I've already shouted out before. So in a previous, if you need to know, you can email us because I kind of forget what Satisfy. Okay. SATAS, it's like spelled weird. But their gaming grip for an adult turns the Switch into, it feels like an adult machine. It's so funny how the simple look of that thing, I always kind of felt like I'm too old for that thing. And then it's like, it's great. I hardly ever have time to play video games. But I have played my Switch a whole lot more recently because I can't play it right before I go to bed, just kind of like the 3DS, that kind of thing. And now I understand, ring-a-ding-ding. And now I understand why Shane talked about the online so much and all those online games, because they are really cheap. And you can get 20-hour games for like $1.
Yeah.
I like that Coffee Crisis game I always heard about. It was on Switch for like 75 cents. And then Shane heard about it and he downloaded it real quick and he played it. And he loved it. And then Tetris 99, because you get 50 cents or $1 for every Switch game you get when you turn in the codes or whatever. The rewards thing, and that's the other nice thing. It's all through the console. Back in the day, we had to, if we wanted something, we had to put in a mail proof of purchase.
Yeah.
And now, you put the card in, it reads the card to know if it's been used before. And it's like, oh, here, you bought it within the first whatever. You get $1.50 worth of credit instead of just 50 cents or 75 or whatever it is. But it does add up to the point where I've gotten a good amount of games.
Well, the thing is in the digital Switch store, what's cool about it or nice compared to previous generations of Nintendo consoles are that games on Switch are just pretty much as cheap or nearly as cheap as they would be on the PS4 store or the Xbox Live or Steam.
That's digital. I mean, it's cool.
My point is, but still, traditionally on Nintendo consoles, it's like, oh, look, this game that's like $10 is like $4 on PlayStation.
Yep.
And then it might be $3 on Steam.
I hear you there.
And they just never ran sales on the Nintendo console. But I think that that has changed significantly this generation. Because you can get on and they're all the time 100 games that are on sale, 50 of which are really good, solid games for pretty darn cheap. And I'm not I don't own a ton of digital games. I don't do that much digital stuff. But man, they are really handy to have on the Switch when you're out moving around and don't want to, carry 15 cartridges with you.
If we weren't crazy, video game heads with all this, yes, the downloading thing, and that point you made is good because now I get to those deals have been on the other consoles for a long time, but Nintendo, you're right, they never did. I mean, their shop, even though they're online, game and they're still having to do friend codes or whatever the heck it is still pretty lame. They did step up the game with their store for sure.
Oh yeah, the store's way better. And I mean, even like on Wii U or Wii, if you wanted to play like an NES game, just a simple NES game, Balloon Fight or something, it'd be like $8.
Yep.
They would be pretty expensive, and I don't know, Switch just seems a lot more accessible. Right. I mean, like I said, there's a ton of games on there like $5 or less.
Oh.
That are good quality, going to keep you entertained. And then there are a lot of games that go on sale, like you can get Celeste on there sometimes for $10. Which is a great game. It's probably one of the best games made in the last 5 or 10 years. And it's on there for just dirt nothing. I was on it the other day, and Hollow Knight, was on there for like $6 or something. Yep. And that's a lot of game for $6.
Yeah, and I like how quickly, unlike a console, some of the knock on the, even though I have gigabit speed internet, downloading things and updates on games. When I know I've got 40 minutes, I know we talked about it before, but I mean, this just recently happened. I had 40 minutes, which I rarely, do, and then 20 minutes of it was gone because of the download.
Yeah, because of the download.
And the Switch, you're talking 3 minutes at most, some of these down. At least for me, again, I don't know if it's my internet's really fast.
Oh, no, even on my internet, which is not nearly as fast as yours, I mean, it seems to... I don't know. PSN has a big throttle on their network, I think, in general.
I bet you PS5, though, it'll open, because I don't know if you remember...
Yeah, PS4 was fast early on.
On launch, I remember, because... Talk about something that's like you never hear when things go right. You only hear when things go wrong, especially in this society right now, especially with what's going on. But when the PS4 launched, it sold like gangbusters, and those servers were like freaking servers from Denmark. They were just ridiculous and well refined and like worked properly. And like, why is this working so well? And I remember we'd be downloading games and it would fly by, and then they bottlenecked it or whatever. And I feel like the PS5, watch them open it back up again just to get people to buy
I feel like somewhere
console.
After like year 2 or something, a PS4, it's like they forgot to pay the internet bill, or they went on the free like Juno internet.
Yeah,
and the kind with the ads.
Yeah, I was trying. My voice is so gone. I was trying to do a dial-up noise,
and man, it got way slow.
Yeah,
because I don't have the same internet you do anymore since I moved. But I used to have the gig a second internet. And out there, download like an 8 gig game, which conceivably should be like really fast, take like a minute or less, to download. But yeah, it'd take like 45 minutes or an hour, to download it. Which historically speaking, I get it. 8 gigs is a lot of data, but when you're setting on a 1 gig internet connection, and it takes you like an hour or two to download an 8 gig game, it kind of makes you feel like you're being taken advantage of a little bit, or why isn't this thing faster? Like, why aren't your servers faster to be able to get this thing to me?
Right.
Because I've got an hour and a half to play with here, and now I'm going to spend half of it just waiting on your thing to download.
What do you think? Even though we already talked about this, kind of just doubling back real quick, I have heard that a big reason we haven't heard anything about the PS5 yet, which is this is kind of late. This thing's coming out in like 7 months.
Allegedly, yes.
Allegedly in like 7 months or so, 8 months. We still don't know a lot of the like hard drive size, right, and things like that. So I think part of it is at least the things that are coming out now, which who knows, is saying like, hey, right now they can't find a way to get this thing less than $600. I'm like, uh-oh.
That's what I think is going on.
Yeah.
I'm actually wondering if PS5 isn't going to slide into next year. But, I'm sure they want to get it out before Christmas, though.
I mean, that would be a take on 2 consoles ago, because then 360 came out, and that helped them. I mean, honestly, that was one of the big reasons they did so well, even though they ended up splitting it perfectly. And yes, Sony sold like an extra 30,000 or 50,000 PS3, so they beat them at the end. But they were playing catch up for 8 out of the 10 years.
Yeah.
And they dropped the price, and they went to the Slim before the Super Slim, and then they really opened themselves up. But it took years, man. The 360. A lot of people love that system, and it gets a lot of love. So maybe this Xbox, whatever it's called again, is going to do the same thing. But yeah, we'll see. No point in talking about that because there's no information. But what we can talk about is a segment that we did not have. Speaking about segments, thank you for bearing with us. This was kind of a atypical, more of a one take. It's going to be a little shorter, but we still piped out one pretty long because we didn't take many breaks. Our handheld holla is when we give a little bit of love to our handheld brethren are, we're talking the Vita, we're talking the Lynx, we're talking the Game Gear, we're talking the Neo Geo, we're talking the Neo Geo Pocket Color. I mean, not the Neo Geo, the regular Neo Geo, never. The Game Gear, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Tiger handheld. I'm not going to name them all. Yeah. I just like doing that. Love the handhelds. I grew up. I was thinking about that today when I picked up your Batman Return of the Joker for NES.
Oh, yeah.
That beautiful box art.
It's one of the best looking boxes.
Best box art. Yeah, Return of the Joker. I remember seeing that in a Toys R Us. You know how you have like basically 40 memories of your childhood, and all they do is get more ingrained. Yeah. I mean, you have more than that, but I remember exactly my spatial awareness of where I was when I was in. I remember being shorter because like even the perspective of my memory was like 4 feet tall or whatever. And I was, I mainly had my Game Boy. That time, like, my handhelds are like 3-4 times as much as the home console because we just left a lot. When my mom would go shopping, I would just sit and play my Game Boy. And I remember I saw the cover art for Batman Return of the Joker for the Game Boy. And I was just, I didn't demand things very much of my mom because, she was a nice mom. I was like a good kid for the most part. I didn't like sweat small stuff, single mom and stuff. So, like, I remember that was one time where I was like, "Hey, Mom, we need to get this," and I didn't take no. And God love my mom.
You took no S's and no F's.
Yeah, but also she didn't put up a fight because like he rarely ever says that. If he's serious about it, then it means it. And that was the greatest thing. Even 2005, when I told my mom about the PSP, and that was still when you had your mom pay for stuff. Right, I was like the trail into college. It's like, oh, this is something I can't afford. Maybe she'll go for it. And I showed her the PSP. She was like, "Oh, well, you need to have that. That thing looks amazing." Because you never saw a handheld like that. Mm-hmm. So anyway, my that cover art. I remember just like, oh man, that sold me. I'd never seen anything like it. The yellow with the smiling face. I remember it was $29.99. I remember those slip, and I remember exactly where I was when I saw it. And now, like looking back on it, like, why didn't I go back and grab some little Samsons? And so, of course. Anyway, what we didn't do is say the name of this segment.
It's the handheld
holla. Missed that last time. Man, that's gonna be a lot. Yeah. You're gonna have to find a horn and then change the pitch. Make it go. Oh. So our handheld holla is can be anything popular, not popular. Sometime we should go through all our picks, but we each have a different system. Adam, what is your handheld holla pick recommendations to our listeners?
It is.
Sorry about my phone.
it's kind of a cheat pick. Honestly, I try not to pick Switch games just because Switch is the Airfingers quote hybrid console, and it's too easy because it's current. That's a little bit of a dig on Shane because he always picks Switch games.
There's a lot of Switch. It's fine.
But this one I'm picking for a specific purpose, and that's because it is a compilation of previously released handheld-based games, and that is the Mega Man Zero/ZX collection.
Yeah.
And so that encompasses several of the Mega Man, the traditional side-scrolling Mega Man games that also generally feature Zero, the other Mega Man character. They were primarily GBA and DS releases, and they're good, solid Mega Man games. They're knuckles hard platformers.
All on the cart, right?
Yeah, all on one cart. Trying to remember, I think there's 8 games total on there, or maybe it's 10 games total.
Wow!
But both from the from those series of games, and I've only played a little bit of it. It just came out. I just got a hold of it, but
still good enough to easily.
Yeah,
recommend.
I mean, if you love old school Mega Man, like if you like hard, action platformers, they're great.
Yeah.
There's the Mega Man X, there's the Mega Man X2 collection, there's the Legacy collection, there's this collection.
11.
Yeah, Mega Man 11. I'm just telling you, man, the Switch, if you like Mega Man, there's some serious Mega Man. Of course, I guess I should caveat that these are also available on a PS4 and Xbox, I'm sure, as well.
Sure. Yeah.
But and PC. But But yeah, but you can play them handheld on a Switch, just like they were kind of intended to originally be. And there's customizations where you can put different filters on, size the screen, you know, the way it was on the old GBA if you want to play it that way.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff, which isn't really an option on the other systems. But anyway, that's my pick. You should look into it if you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah, check it out. And also, I know enough to know it's not a $60 game. I think it's routinely at about $30.
Yeah, I think it was
40,
about $30.
30.
When I
Eventually, it'll
pre-ordered
get
it.
down to 20 and less. But yeah, that's a good pick. All right, my handheld holla pick is going to be from the DS, the original DS. It's a little off kilter. Some of you might groan at the genre, but I don't care because it's a great pick, and that is Tecmo Bowl Kickoff for the Nintendo DS. The reason I picked this is because a lot of people might not know about this, and you know, Tecmo Super Bowl is well known for the NES game. Specifically the latter, Tecmo Super Bowl, and then also the games that have kind of come out on the Super Nintendo as well. But obviously its heyday was a long time ago. There was such a big drought, and there's obviously still a big following, and there's tournaments playing Tecmo. This is basically a Tecmo Bowl game for the DS that is updated. It doesn't have the current NFL license, but it plays wonderfully. It plays even a little bit better than the remake that came out in like 2009 for the PS3 download only, and it was called Tecmo Bowl, I think, just Tecmo Bowl Kickoff as well. But this one actually feels that like it runs even tighter, and it is just basically Tecmo Super Bowl updated. It's inexpensive. I don't see this everywhere. I never see anybody talking about this, but to be able to play Tecmo Super Bowl in a handheld form, and it's like updated, it's great. The music is great. You can switch back and forth from classic mode to the updated graphics. So the game plays the same, but then of course all the shapes and everybody has a rounder features. But with you just on the fly, hitting the left trigger or something like that, it'll instantly go to the 8-bit mode. And it's great. I want to say it's like a $10 game. I'll have to check. Or I could check now. So just, I know it's not expensive. And yes, it's a sports game, but if you like...
It's Tecmo Bowl, man. It transcends.
Yes, it completely does. A wonderful game. So, and you might not know about it because honestly, I didn't know about it till I got a DS like a year ago, and I thought I was in the know of Tecmo Super Bowl. So, Tecmo Bowl Kickoff for the Nintendo DS and Mega Man X2572, Mega Man Zero ZX.
It's so Japan, man. I mean, it's just like we got to put zeros and ones and X's.
Birds of Prey, the rebel Harley Quinn. We didn't make enough money. Just call it.
And
Harley
honestly,
Quinn.
as much as I like Mega Man, I feel kind of bad about myself that like there's so many offshoots and lineages of the Mega Man games. I can't keep them all straight.
Yeah. Oh, hey, real quick before we wrap up, I forgot. We saw Sonic, right?
Oh yeah,
I ended up seeing it with my buddy Chris Turok and then another friend of mine. It was funny, just the three of us, and we somehow convinced our wife. I think it's just because they knew we were seeing a Sonic movie. Maybe they thought it was cute. They're like, "Yeah, you could do that, you weirdos."
Hey, babe, I'm going out to see a kids movie with all my adult male friends.
Dude, that's what we did, man. We were 35-year-olds seeing freaking Sonic in the theaters. And you know what? I thought it was fine. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I mean, given the source material,
I
don't think you could have done any better with it.
No. I agree. What's funny is like James Marsden. I thought it was great. I thought Jim Carrey was great. I love seeing how everybody was so nostalgic for him because he was kind of the kid comedian for the generation a little younger than us by 5-10 years, with the Grinch and everything else. And to me, it was always like he was in living color. And he was Fire Marshal Bill.
Yeah, Fire Marshal Bill. That's what
so
I was
like I didn't feel like if I need a fix of Jim Carrey, which I don't really ever need, I can just hop back on watch that Ace Ventura. Which honestly, gosh, he's at the top of his game. When he was in the mental health when he was in the mental health thing, and he's like Blue 32, 47, and he does this like replay of
the best part of that whole movie.
What?
Is when he's delivering the package at the very beginning.
You see, and
because that's my UPS guy. That's literally my UPS guy. He just tears the living crap out of everything he delivers to my house.
Yeah, there's so many best parts of that movie. If you go back, it's really stupid, and at the end, it's like he was hiding Mr. Winky. and
Well, then
that
Ace
never
Ventura.
would hold up, and they're stealing a dang dolphin. And then he goes at this one point just to keep the plot going, where he goes to this rich guy's house who he thinks stole it, and like is like pulling on the violinist and running in there and saying the plumbing's not great, and he's gonna get like food poisoning, and that guy had nothing to do with the movie. They found out like, oh, he didn't steal the dolphin. So it was just this big elaborate scene just to let Jim Carrey, act like he's trying to break into place and jump over the edge. And then I think the best part is when the old lady that's normally in the movie Ghostbusters at the beginning that sees the ghost goes up, and she's Ray Finkel's mom. And she says with her cookies, Dan Marino should die of gonorrhea and rot in hell. Would you like a cookie, son?
Would you like a cookie?
Yeah, just. I mean, come on. I think that'll.
I don't know. There's that, and then Ace Ventura 2, of course, which where
it's a little rough.
It is a little bit rough, but the part where he has to sneak out of the spy elephant.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a rhino.
Yeah, or rhino. Sorry.
Yes,
yeah, that's
I remember that well. When
also a
he's
classic.
Yeah, that's one of the that's the big scene from that exactly. And then when he anyway, okay, we're done talking about that.
Yeah, we're done.
Stuff.
We're done.
So back to Sonic. I thought it was good. I think I'm pleasantly surprised that it made more money than anybody
expected. It made
expected.
A crap ton of money. Yeah, I took my son and we went and watched it like on a Saturday or whatever.
I wish my son was old enough.
Oh
to take
yeah, he loved it.
Did he?
Yeah.
I could see it's so funny to see all the neckbeards get mad about this. I shouldn't say that. I should. It's fine. You shouldn't get mad about it. It's a kid's movie. It's a family movie. If it's not your Sonic and it doesn't have the lore, I thought it was really funny to see people nitpick it. My goodness, it's about as good as it could be for a Sonic movie.
Yeah, I know. When I first heard that they were going to do a Sonic movie, I'm like, good luck not making that not a turd.
Yeah. And, yes, he throws rings. They don't make a lot of sense. And there's definite plot holes. But, like, from the start, he's a video game character in the real world. And, and James Marsden and has to act with nothing or whatever. But at the end of the day, it was
it's definitely
pleasant.
good to watch with the kids.
Yeah. I recommend it. I saw it opening weekend or whatever. It's hilarious. I'll definitely see Sonic 2, man. The cameo. Oh, I shouldn't give it away.
Oh yeah, don't give it away.
I won't.
Man.
I almost did, but it was the exact cameo I was expecting at the end of Sonic 1.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Everybody knows what's gonna happen, but people were pleasantly surprised because that part was authentic to the people that get upset about things normally. That was like the thing that fixed things, because they're like, oh, wait a sec, because when you have certain people, and like when they did the Saturday morning DuckTales and they used the original voice actors and stuff like that.
What I want them to do is actually take the movies and follow the original Genesis trilogy of Sonic games. I want them to do Sonic 1.
Yep.
I want to do Sonic 2. And then I want them to do Sonic and Knuckles.
Yep.
And then I want them to redo Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 with Knuckles.
Yes. Yeah. And have like a director's cut that puts them in the
Correct.
background.
There'll be like a time travel element.
Yep.
And then there's an alternate universe where Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 includes extra levels specific for Knuckles.
Yeah. I've heard that Sonic Boom is like a decent show.
Sonic Boom, what's that?
Sonic Boom is the new Sonic. It's like, how a Ninja Turtles updates their cartoons every 5 years.
Oh yeah, I did not know
Yeah,
this.
so they've made a few different Sonic ones, but the new one, Sonic Boom, supposedly is not bad. So if you ever want to pop an episode on with kiddo,
watch a wise cracking porcupine. No, not porcupine, hedgehog.
Yeah, the look is a little different, but from what I heard, if your kid gets addicted to it,
I hope the look is better than the look of the new Ninja Turtles. I don't like the animation in the new Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, it's kind of like it wants to be like Spider-Verse, but it doesn't come across the way it should.
Yeah, it comes across cheap.
Yeah. But again, same like before. It's if the kids like it, I'd be happy with that. So anyway, that was our handheld hauler and our hot movie take on
Hot take
Sonic the Hedgehog. So yeah, apologies that this one was delayed. Hopefully we will get on schedule. Obviously I can't make any promises because last time bit the dust on that one. But hopefully we'll be in full swing. We could see this guy named Shane. That if you guys have heard of him, he could hopefully be in the next one here. He's wanting to make the next. He has gotten. I
think I'm going to entice him next time with free beer.
Yeah, that'll bring him out.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, he started up different things with the job and bit with the sickness like all of us were. So anyway, we try our best. Thank you so much for listening. Go back and listen to our old episodes. Check out and also any emails, Facebook otherwise will be on the next episode. Thank you for everybody who's emailed us. Sorry it's been hard for us to reply now, because we're sicker than dogs. But anyway, thank you so much for listening. Email us at videogamedads@yahoo.com. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Thanks for hanging in with us, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it very much.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.